I think the most interesting aspect to this episode of Inuyashiki was how they 100% confirmed that these bodies can 100% revive the dead, even after being mortally wounded as seen by the grandmother, as well as Hiro's more or less love interest. But at the same time, you would think, okay, well now the element of danger is 100% removed because any character that these two care about can be revived. But in the same episode, they introduce an element that pretty much makes that ability useless, which is this asteroid that supposedly is bigger than the one that screwed over Earth 65 million years ago. Perfect way to go about this, because I've always been okay with the idea of reviving the dead as long as it never got to the point of it was like a ray that they could just blast the entire town with and everyone can be revived. I think the way they have revived characters in this, which has been very few, but the way Hiro revives a grandmother as well as his love interest, 100% is okay in my books, and I think it's justified. They did not deserve the fate they got, even though they were more or less accomplices, one of which didn't actually know she was, but still, they did not deserve to get blasted and killed the way they did. But when you're dealing with someone as insane as Hiro, it's understandable why the SWAT team wasn't taking any chances. But the fact that they introduced this new element that more or less, if that asteroid hits the world, like, it's gonna be another ice age. Like, there's no way that Hiro would be able to save, or even our main character would be able to save people after that. So I like how they introduced an element that more or less makes that ability of reviving the dead useless, and I assume that's going to be the end game that they're going to have to deal with, is this asteroid coming to Earth, and I would assume that's probably how Hiro's going to go out, and maybe even our main character, depending on how they want to go the route of it. But still, I like how they introduced that element there. It's perfect, and it makes the idea of reviving the dead not so overpowered to the point that we don't have to worry about characters dying. I mean, look at that SWAT team and police force, they're completely dead. However, I had to say this episode was really good. I mean, starting the episode off, having the laser pointers on just everyone here and just the gruesome and just brutal deaths that took place and how Hiro got out of there and took their bodies, and in that moment I was like, he's got to revive them. There's no way that they're not going to get revived, and then he kind of left, so I was kind of questioning, is he actually not going to realize that he could probably revive the dead? So I did like seeing in the episode where the girl was pretty much saying, hey, there's another like 500 million yen or something like that in our bank account, so it seems like Hiro wants to take care of them, make sure they're well set off, but he understands that more or less it's impossible. He was going to try for her sake to be a good person and kind of live a good life, but he realizes that's not going to work out, so he's going to kill people. And I think some people misunderstood what I said last week, like, Hiro's this changed man. No, Hiro will do whatever the people he loves wants. He wants to make the ones that he loves happy. The first with his mother, he was going to change for his mother. His mother didn't like what he was doing, so he said, I'll be a good person. His mother ends up getting pretty much killed because of his own doing. She has to kill herself. Once again with this girl, he says, okay, she wants me to use my abilities to heal people. Of course, I'll do that. I won't kill. But when that goes up in the water there and pretty much he can't do that, of course, he's going to go back to what he is doing. He wasn't changed, but he will do whatever the loved ones that around him want him to do. So that's kind of what I was talking about last week. The thing I really like with this episode, even with all the carnage and the really emotional stuff with this, is I actually appreciate seeing our main character's daughter here and seeing a bit more into his family life, because we obviously knew that his family life wasn't that great. And I like seeing a bit more on the daughter's side, especially seeing that when she was little, she would actually be so attached to her father because she was scared that he was going to die any minute because of how old he looked, which is pretty sad but kind of sweet to see how much she loved him. But still, it's like, holy hell, that's got to be hard as a father, being like, man, I look like shit to my daughter that she thinks I'm gonna just kind of like keel over any minute now. But it's interesting how they kind of worked it in, because she starts following, I forget his name, Ando I believe is his name, as well as her father, and then she ultimately sees what he's doing, which I think definitely puts a new perspective because she's kind of just separated herself. I mean, he even says that like he hasn't even really spoken with his daughter for a few years. So I like the way that she kind of realizes like what exactly her father is, and of course she's probably still thinking like, is this even my father anymore? But he's saving people, he's healing people, and then the thing that kind of ties that bow perfectly is basically when her mother is trying to say that, you know, you gotta go to school, gotta go to college, you can't focus on your dream, just go get a job and work on this as a hobby. Our main character comes in and just says, no, I mean, as long as her school isn't suffering, I think she should pursue it. It's perfectly fine. And I like how they kind of tied her character over, and it kind of gives you a sense of like, man, I think she's starting to realize that she probably shouldn't hate her father as much as she is, because it's always rebellious things with a lot of kids. I thought that was a perfect way to do it, but damn, the way the animation works on their bodies when they're getting basically shot with bullets, like Hero's just, it's nothing stops the guy. But you see just the impact, and just, there was a lot of terror in this episode, and I think they handled it beautifully. from character expressions to Hiro leaving one of the police officers alive, saying like, hey, I'm gonna leave you alive so you can see me take out the police force, to him even just saying you win, but Hiro still not killing him. This was insane. Hiro needs to go down. I think that asteroid is what's ultimately going to take him out one way or another, if our main character is going to throw him into it or whatever is going to happen. But this was a phenomenal episode. A lot of action, a lot of emotion, but I appreciate seeing the stuff with our main character as well as his family life, learning a bit more. Hopefully we can get a bit more with this family, maybe with the son side of things, maybe with seeing what's going on with him. But overall, this has been a well-paced series. I'm very excited to see where next week's going to go. Only a few episodes left, but I can't wait to see where this is going to go. But let me know your thoughts. What did you think of episode 8? And how excited are you for next week's episode? Let me know. And before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.